Good evening, honorable members of the Public Safety and Security Committee. Thank you so much for hearing all of us today. My name is Judy Aron, and I'm a resident of West Hartford. Governor Malloy believes me to be the fringe of the fringe, but I'm here today as a taxpayer, a mother, a wife, a citizen of Connecticut, and a law-abiding person who has a valid Connecticut pistol permit and firmly believes in our constitutional right, both federal and state, to keep and bear arms uninfringed. We have several bills before us today in this committee hearing, and I'm opposed to all of them except SB 299 for the very reasons that other people before me and after me will enumerate. The numbers and names of the bills I have put on the back of my testimony with some brief stated objections. And I don't understand how anyone in good conscience can agree to any of these bills, all of which are completely and utterly ineffective in preventing another Sandy Hook, in my opinion. What these bills do, and especially SB 1076, is to make it more difficult and expensive for any citizen in Connecticut to legally own and operate a firearm, and thus allow a disadvantage for us and a major advantage to criminals. Criminals, by definition, will be exempt from these laws. Can you explain to me how we're here crafting legislation without a full account of what happened in Newtown? Where is the toxicology report? Where's the police investigation report? It's been 3 months. Without knowing why Adam Lanza did what he did or what drugs he was on, how can we just blame this all on guns and go full bore on restricting access and limiting availability and creating more paperwork and la 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 la? Did the current gun regulations, some of the toughest in the country, stop Adam Lanza? No, not entirely. From what I heard, the system actually worked and he was denied a permit, but he stole the guns anyway. He broke perhaps 24 laws, and so do you really believe that enacting 100 more laws and regulations is going to fix anything? Truly it won't. Instead, you're going to be punishing good, hard-working, tax-paying Connecticut citizens for the crimes that Mr. Lanza committed. I will wager the only thing that will prevent this tragedy from happening again is not restricting gun ownership, but fixing the incredibly broken mental health delivery system in the state, and making certain that places where our children play and learn are made safe and secure. Where are the proposed laws for that? There are not many, if any. Do you know how many bullets I want in my magazine? It's one more than my attacker has. I don't want the state telling me what kind of gun I can own, or what cosmetics it can have, or how many bullets I can have in a magazine. And in any crime against me or my family and my home, I will be the first responder. So I want you to know that. I should have the complete freedom to own and operate any equipment that my local police department has, since they are up against the same criminal element that I am in my own community. And I'll wrap up by saying, all of this ineffective knee-jerk legislation will cost Connecticut in more paperwork, more lawsuits, lost jobs, lost revenue, and lost lives. The costs are very real indeed. And I will tell you that this gun issue is not a Democrat issue. It's not a Republican issue. It's an issue that affects every one of us. And these laws that you're proposing will strip us of our ability to determine for ourselves how we wish to defend ourselves against criminals. So, if you support any of these measures that will further erode our choices, and whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you will do so at the peril of losing your next election. Because hundreds of thousands of average, ordinary, tax-paying people like me across this state will work very, very hard to make sure that people who disregard our firearm choices and our rights and their oath of office will be unseated the next time Election Day comes around. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Any questions for Judy? You have a question? Representative Mike Cattell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, we've heard throughout the hearing today many times from people testifying that we shouldn't be acting on something until we know what the full report is of the state police investigation is. And that's an important point to make, and it has a lot of merit. I think legislators should know as much as the state police know today. We don't need to know necessarily what's going to take them 3 months, but what they know today, we should know. I don't know why we can't get that information, because we shouldn't be legislating in the blind. And that's what we may be doing if we go out and do a bill next week not knowing what the investigation report actually says. So we should, as legislators, have the right to know to date, what do they know?
Absolutely, Representative Micatel, I couldn't agree with you more. And I am quite surprised and shocked that we don't have at least some sort of preliminary reports. I mean, I can't understand how it would take 3 months for them to produce some sort of toxicology report. We should know whether Mr. Lanza was on some sort of medication that made him homicidal, that made him aggressive, that made him suicidal. I mean, normal people just don't get up one morning and blow their mother's face off and then trot off to a school to kill innocent children. You don't do that. He must have been on some sort of mind-altering psychotic medication. I don't know. We don't know. And we should know. We should know this information, because if there is some sort of side effects to some medications that people are on, they should either be monitored very carefully when they're taking it, or that medication should not be made available to people. I mean, that's a public safety, a public health issue. And I couldn't agree with you more. I just don't understand how we can go off and say, oh, well, you know, we should have registration, and we should do this fees, and we should have liability insurance, and la, 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 la. None of those things would have stopped Adam Lanza. I'm sorry. It just would not have. And I feel very, very strongly, as a permit holder in this state, that with this plethora of legislation that's come out, this is a backlash against me. I haven't done any crime. This is punishing me. And this is hamstringing me from being able to protect myself. As I said, how many bullets do I want in my magazine? I want one more than my attacker has.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the committee? If not, thank you very much, Judy.